Hi, welcome back to the channel Fluency with Sivi. In this video, we are going to learn how can you think in English in order to be fluent in English. I'm very sure every one of you know that we struggle with thinking in English. There is another language in our mind, but we have to speak in English. And I know it gets difficult. So in this video, I'm going to suggest you some amazing tips that are going to help you to think in English. So without any further ado, let's get started. So, talking about thinking in English, of course, it's a journey. It's not something that you will be able to get in just a span of 2 3 days. Just like how your fluency is going to take a lot of time, thinking in English is also going to take a lot of time. And let me tell you why. Right from our childhood, we've been thinking in our own mother tongue, and for us to suddenly shift from our mother tongue to English, it will take good enough amount of time. And let me tell you, it's not as difficult as you think it is. You just have to get used to it, and that's it. You just have to make it a habit of thinking in English every time. And I understand that every time to translate from your mother tongue to English, it gets difficult, and because of that you will get stuck while speaking in English, and that is when thinking in English is actually going to solve your problem. So let's talk about the first step that is actually going to help you to start thinking in English. The first and the foremost step that I have always followed to think in English is to make a conscious decision to think in English. Whenever you're thinking something or whenever you are practicing English, there is going to be a certain time in the day where you actually practice English. In that particular time, make it a point or make it a conscious decision that you are actually going to think in English, because in the initial days it's important that you realize or you remind yourself that yes, now I have to think in English. If you do it for the initial 20 to 25 days, later it is going to automatically become a habit. You don't have to remind yourself of that. So what I'm trying to tell you is, initial days, just try to remind yourself to think in English, so that you will make a conscious decision to think in English. With time you will get used to it, and with time you're going to get better at it. So this, that one tip or the first tip that is really going to help you to think in English. Second tip that I would like to suggest you all is that please consume more of English content. When I say consume more of English content, it could be reading something in English, watching something in English, listening to something in English. When you consume more of English content, your mind is automatically going to think more about the content that you have watched or the content that you have consumed. So, because of that, your mind will slowly habituate itself to start thinking in English. So, that's why I'm telling you, make a habit of consuming more of English content right in the beginning, so that it makes it easier for you to start thinking in English when you are in the initial stages of learning this language. Tip number 3 is, of course, to speak more. Whenever you're trying to speak more and more, you will end up thinking in English more and more. You know a lot of words, you know a lot of vocabulary, but you're not trying to speak in English at all. All that is just in your mind, but you're not speaking at all. In that case, you cannot think in English at all. So I would recommend you all, please try to speak in English every day, be it you taking calls on Sivi every day, just talk to someone or just talk to your own self or do something, just speak out. That is really going to help you to think in English, because whatever you think might not be correct. But when you speak out every day, that is when you will end up learning a lot of stuff. And when you end up learning a lot of stuff, eventually you will end up thinking in English. So these are those 3 steps that are really going to help you to think in English. And I'm pretty sure if you give all of them a try, they are really, really, really going to help you, because they helped me a lot think in English. Because you guys know how much thinking in English is important. And all of these tips are very, very important in order to think in English. So make sure you follow all these tips, and I will see you guys in my next video. I will come up with more such videos very, very soon. Till then, you please take care of yourself. I will see you soon. Bye.